Today we are reviewing the Betterpress Machine from Spellbinders, and I'm very excited to do so. I've seen so many great review videos and how-to videos done by crafting influencers online that were sent to the machine beforehand to play with, and I purchased the machine myself, and I wanted to give my opinion on it as someone who purchased it just for personal crafting and, not because a company asked me to do it or anything like that. And so we are going to review it today based on the following categories. I've decided for reviewing tools and products, I'm going to be using this from now on, STAMP. This stands for storage, tool integration, affordability, multi-purpose, and performance. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that my overall general opinion of this machine itself as a machine, whether or not I like the results or whether or not I think it's worth the money or things like that, the fact of the matter is the Betterpress machine works, it's easy to use, and it creates beautiful textured stamped images. But there is more to consider than just that, and I'm going to be discussing the pros and the cons of the machines in today's review. I am going to be giving away a machine since I accidentally ordered two, so you can check out the video description below for details on how you can win a Betterpress machine. Now let's first talk about performance. What does the machine actually do? It's similar to a letterpress, but better. The main purpose of this machine is to stamp an image onto your card and also add texture to that image. The texture is not similar to an embossing folder or a 3D embossing folder. It is far more subtle than that. All you need to do this is to place your plate on the chase, which is this platform here. It looks very similar to the Glimmer hot foil machine. Now it has clearly marked lines for A2 and A7 card sizes, which is a great improvement from the hot foil platform. It's also magnetic, so nothing really moves around. I love these improvements to this platform, and I kind of have hope for the future that the hot foil machine will also be made like this. Next step is you're going to tape your cardstock to the magnetic plastic piece. And let the magnets do their work. You place this on top of the chase or the platform and run it through your die cutting machine. So I have to say, as far as usability and performance of this tool, like I said, I can't speak for longevity because this is a new product. I give this a 5 out of 5 cards rather than stars. It really can't get easier than this, and it's clearly laid out in the instructions. And if you're using the coordinating supplies that Spellbinders produces, where you get a certain amount of them within the box, it works. Now, what about storage of the machine? Now, the machine measures roughly 32 by 16 centimeters, or a little over 12 inches by roughly 6 inches. It's relatively lightweight, and it can be easily stored in a drawer, shelf, or in the original box if you prefer. In order to use this tool, you do need a die cutting machine, the Betterpress ink, the Betterpress cardstock, and of course the Betterpress plates themselves, which are kind of the star of the show. Now the machine itself is easy to store, but the fact of the matter is you need to also find a place for your plates and have them organized similar to the way you do with your stamps or dies or hot foil plates, and then you also have special ink and special cardstock for it. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 cards because of that. It's one of those supplies that can continue expanding. It's not like when I buy a paper trimmer, it's just going to take up that amount of space. It's something that you can keep expanding upon, so storage might become an issue if you truly love the machine. Next up is tool integration. As I mentioned, this tool does require a die cutting machine. It will work with the Spellbinders Platinum, Platinum 6, and most of the Sizzix machines like the Big Shot, the Big Kick, Tim Holtz Vagabond, Big Shot Plus, the Switch, but it is not compatible with the Gemini products and also with the Anna Griffin Empress and the Cuttlebug, which I know are 3 machines that a lot of you have the potential to own. Now, as far as tool integration goes, I can't really take too much out of my stash and use it with the Betterpress machine. I can, of course, experiment with different types of cardstock, and I can experiment with different types of inks if I want to, but overall, I need the Betterpress line in order to use the Betterpress machine. So as far as tool integration goes, it's not really helping me use things from my stash and integrate things from my stash at all. So I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 cards in this category. Next up is affordability. And this is where the machine doesn't impress me very much. A little really corny, quirky pun there. Now, assuming you have the compatible die cutting machine already, the machine itself is going to set you back $79.99. And overall, I don't think that's a bad price for the machine. It comes with a black ink pad, it comes with 15 card panels, and it comes with everything you need to get started. Now, that's what I mean when I'm not super impressed, because it really is just to get started. It comes with 1 flower plate. So you're gonna run out of things to do with the machine pretty quickly or get pretty bored of that flower image. So either you'll run out of cardstock or your ink will get dry, and that means investing in more plates, potentially ink refills, different paper. If your paper doesn't work with it, remember you can experiment and give it a try. And the plates range from $10.99 at the moment to $29.99 for an image. Most of them ranging between $15 and $25. So they're quite pricey. They're very much up there with dies and hot foil plates. And the paper. If your cardstock that you personally use doesn't work well with this machine and you do choose to use the Spellbinders brand of cardstock, it is for a 25 pack of card panels, about $12.99, and a 25 pack of 8.5 by 11 paper is $39.99. I love quality paper and everything, but that's definitely on the higher end price-wise. So the investment of this machine is kind of like investing in die cutting or hot foiling all over again. But there is some positive news about that, and I'm gonna be getting into that in the next category. So for affordability, I'm giving this one a 1 out of 5 stars. Again, $79.99 for the machine itself. I don't find that to be unreasonable. But the fact of the matter is this is an infinite amount of dollars that you can spend on plates and paper and inks and ink refills and ink colors, that this is definitely one for those with a little bit of a higher crafting budget. So multi-purpose is kind of where the tool shines. I can ink blend a background and then make a beautiful better pressed image on top. I can watercolor the image or use colored pencils with it. So I can integrate a lot of supplies in the coloring in aspect of the images. And the cool part is I can use Betterpress images to hot foil. So if you're into hot foiling and you own the hot foiling machine, the Betterpress plates may be something in the future that you invest in even more than hot foil plates, because at least the Betterpress plates actually have 2 purposes. They could be used for hot foiling and the Betterpress. The only thing is it can't be reversed. You can't hot foil with your plates with the Betterpress. However, I tried it out because I didn't quite know this and it works. But Spellbinders does say that it can damage your machine. So I'm just telling you that's completely at your own risk. I did it by accident. I don't see anything damaged on my machine and it worked fine. But Spellbinders does officially say Betterpress plates work in Betterpress and hot foil. Hot foil plates are strictly for hot foiling. And of course you can use them to make an impression with your die cutting machine. So overall, for the final appearance of the image, the technique possibilities for coloring these things in, I give them a 4 out of 5 cards. Now, would I suggest buying this product, or would I recommend this product to you as a crafter? And I'm gonna give my brutally honest opinion here by giving you 3 considerations before you make your final decision. As I said, the machine is great quality and it does what it's supposed to do. I've created great stamped impressions that have beautiful texture, and I'm satisfied with the way the final results look, absolutely. There's nothing overall with the machine, wrong with the machine or the product. But do you rely on video tutorials for inspiration on how to use products? Now here's what I worry about with this particular product line when it comes to video creators creating inspiration for this. It is really hard to capture on film the texture that this provides because it's so subtle. It just looks like a stamped image. So unfortunately, I kind of question how often video creators are going to be creating inspiration using the Betterpress machine after the initial promotion phase. That, you know, as a video creator, I get a lot of the time when I use the hot foil machine, people saying like, I don't hot foil, or this isn't an affordable thing for me, why do you keep showing these? And I have a feeling the Betterpress tool is going to get the same critiques and then more, because at least the hot foiling I could say like, look how shiny this is, look how beautiful it is. But with the Betterpress, it's hard to convey that on video and justify the price of a plate versus the price of just simply stamping. The other thing I would look at are the images that are available on the Spellbinders website for the Betterpress plates. Because as I said, it'll probably be a while before, if ever, before companies actually start making, other companies start making Betterpress plates. So are the ones that are available your personal style, yes or no? Are there enough of them to keep you satisfied for a while? And then of course, there is the possibility that the machine itself flops. I am grateful to any company that comes out with a new tool. I love diversity and lots of different things and the possibilities and all those things in my craft room. And tools are generally the thing that let me do that most. But what if this doesn't go really much further and then you've invested in the machine and the plates and then you only have a few of them and then you're kind of left with nothing at the end? It's a bit of a risk, but overall, if it's anything like the hot foil machine, I'm sure it'll pick up at some point. Now my second question, and it's probably the most important, is the texture, this very subtle texture, actually making a difference to the beauty of your card or your crafting? When I look at the final result of this, it's beautiful, there's no question about it, but it is very subtle. It's not like an embossing folder or a 3D embossing folder where the texture is very raised and obvious. So I kind of wonder if the recipients of the cards are actually even going to initially pick up on the fact that there's texture to the stamped image. And if they do, is the texture going to be something that excites them about the card? I'd probably get much more of a reaction or a talking point about the card when it comes to an embossing folder or a 3D embossing folder. And those are significantly cheaper alternatives to the Betterpress. And for those of you who are like me, where a good portion of your cards are created just for the sake of being creative and might not actually get passed along to a recipient, does that slightly raised look or that slight texture to them really justify the overall cost? Or will a stamp leave you equally satisfied? Now the last thing, of course, is budget. If you're a crafter who spends on average $25 to $50 a month, let's say on craft supplies, give or take, this is probably not quite the machine for you. I would only go for this if you're on a smaller budget, if this is truly the thing that you find the most amazing thing you've ever created with your cards. Then maybe it's worth it. Then again, if you're someone who loves hot foiling, Betterpress tool might actually save you money in the long run, or not save you money necessarily, but actually get you more to do with your stuff. Because for me personally, I'm probably going to be investing in Betterpress plates more so than I am hot foil plates now. Because if I can use my Betterpress plates in my hot foil machine, then why not go for the Betterpress plates? Because I can use them in two different ways. But if you are the type of crafter that loves the subtle texture, you love the look of letterpress, you're not necessarily on any sort of very restrictive budget, then you know what? The machine is a great machine. It's going to do what it needs to do for you. Overall, I'm going to continue playing with the Betterpress, and hopefully I will find also more possibilities of what this machine is actually capable of. However, if you are someone who is on a budget, but you still want texture on your cards, come on over to this video here where I talk about using embossing folders and different ways that you can use them, because embossing folders might not give you the stamped impression, but it will give you texture to your cards that is very beautiful, elegant, and I will see you over there.